Hello. Hi. Um, can I have a hat if you can hear me? I say this every time, and every time you can, but every time I always panic that no one can hear me. Um, Kelly's Creative Dreams. Hi. First one in. I'm normally the last one in. Diane, you finally made it to live. Yay. That's great. Fabulous. So, how is everyone? The weather's a lot nicer than it was last week, can I just say? Um, a lot nicer here. I've got my window wide open. I've got no rain, or anything like that. Um, can everyone hear me? Yeah? Okay. So my husband just come in and said he couldn't hear me, but he had his phone on silent. So that's why he couldn't hear me. Right, so oh Karen, good evening. How are you? Hope you're well. Oh, you shared. Thank you so much. But yes, share my inane babblings for the next 2 hours. If we have to sit through it, so does everyone else. Um, so I don't know if you noticed, but on the notification, it was saying that we're going to be doing this for the next 3 weeks. So we're going to start making the album on Ciao Bella's YouTube page, and then next week, because I normally do it sort of should be doing it every 2 weeks on Ciao Bella's page. So next week on my own YouTube, we will pick up the sort of the decorating of the inside and adding pages. And then on the third week, we'll be back here on Ciao Bella's page, finishing that album off. And then if whatever we don't get finished off on, if I want to add any bits, it'll be then the week after on my own page. But I think we can do it in 3 sittings, definitely. Um, so I decided to pick the Coral Reef. Um, I tend to always go to the florally ones. The flower shop one, I love that. But I thought to myself, nope, I'm going to do something a little bit different and we will use this collection instead. So this is the one that we're going to go with. Now, unfortunately, it's so bright in here. I normally complain that it's not bright enough, don't I? But it's not picking up the colours. So if I sort of tilt it, there it is. So you've got these are like yellowy orange, but if I put it down, it almost looks brown, doesn't it? So you've got the most beautiful blues, and again, it's just not there you go. Just need to tilt it a little bit, and then you can see those beautiful blues. You've got a little bit of teal here, and then here you've got the really gold, rusty looking. Gaz, hello. Fabulous. I'm so glad you was here. Not as late as you were last week. Have you come in to adjust my light? Right. My tech man has just nipped in, but everything's all right. It's good. Oh, it looks better. See, you can pick it up. It's really weird because sometimes it picks the papers up absolutely perfectly, and then sometimes it doesn't. But that's looking a lot better. So I was just saying, uh, Nana Kim, good afternoon. Oh, North Carolina. Not jealous. Not jealous at all. So yes, I was just saying quickly that the album is going to be over the next 3 Thursdays. Here today, my YouTube next week, and then back on Ciao Bella's the week after. I picked the Coral Reef for 2 reasons. I always tend to go for the flowery collections, but I'm pretty sure that Gaz is really loving this collection. So I thought, in honour of Gaz, we'll do the Coral Reef. I'll step out. I mean, I'm not stepping out of my comfort zone per se because they are the most beautiful papers. So I just quickly, if I tilt, in fact, if I bring it up, you get to see how rustic and rusty it's looking rather than it's a bit washed out down here, but they are absolutely beautiful. And what I love about these papers is you've got all this texture here, so you don't need to use any of your mixed media paste. You don't need to use your crackle paste if you don't want to, because you've got all that crackle there anyway. You've got all the aged and weathered look here and here, a little bit like me. So it's great. You can really step into it looking like you've done a really beautiful mixed media project with all your paste and stuff, where actually you haven't. You've not used anything. The page is speaking for itself. And all the sea animals, they're just absolutely gorgeous. You always get this fussy cutting page in here. Just making sure I've not missed humid in Missouri. It was so humid here last week. It was awful. But it was raining as well, so it makes it a little bit worse, doesn't it? The paper is gorgeous, Diane. Absolutely it is. I love this. Let me lift it up a little bit more because then you get more of the true colour come through. Just absolutely got this is just it's a frame on the wall and nothing else, isn't it? It really is. So, and if I bring it to that side, look at that gold and that orange and then the blue coming through. So that was the paper pad, and then this is the patterns pad, which again is just as gorgeous. Let me bring it over a little bit. There we go. And again, you don't, if you're not into the mixed media, but you love that look and effect, or, you're not there yet, you've got all that crackle there, you've got the aged look, just popping that on a project. If you've got a wooden, if you've got like sort of a wooden tray, or if you've got some placemats, if you've got some placemats that are looking a bit worn, you can still use papers on your placemats. You would just need to seal it over the top with some sort of, let me just see if I can reach that. Oh, there I am, look. With some sort of Mod Podge. So as long as you seal over the top of your papers, you can have your coasters made out of these. You can have your, anything really. Your tray, as long as you coat the top. I love this one. It's almost like it is a nautical map with all those nautical elements on there. Hi, Michelle. This is the first live I've managed to see. Hi, Helen. Oh, I'm glad that you managed to get on then. That's great. Happy to have you here. Taking iPad to the kitchen. Dishes are calling. Thank you, Kelly. It's nice to know that wherever I am, I get to do the dishes with someone. And I love these. So you've got some beautiful just background pieces with these. That sort of weathered wood look is always a favourite. Keys, and again, lots of tiny little, you could cut those up and mosaic something if you really wanted. And then you've got tags in here, you've got a couple of borders. And again, beautiful on the back. I know we've seen these, but I thought I'd refresh our memory. Although some of you haven't, Helen hasn't, because she wasn't here before, was she? So she's going to be loving those. But if I lift that closer, look at the little starfish, the little seahorse, absolutely gorgeous. This is another one that you're just going to put in a frame and just have it on your wall because it's artwork. It's not necessarily a paper or scrapbooking collection. It's just the most gorgeous artwork. So that's what I'm going to be using today. So that's the patterns pad and the paper pad. You know that we've got the 8x8 paper pad as well. We have the A4 creative pad, which is all those tabs and tags and things like that, and toppers, or just paper on the back. And then we have some of that gorgeous deluxe paper. I don't even need to take it out for you to see the shine on that. But look, so this is it. Look how it plays. My camera doesn't like that, but look at it. So it is printed onto a gold leaf, which is what gives you that beautiful colour. So those are the deluxe in the 6x6, and you've also got them in the A4. Totally different patterns in the A4 to the 6x6. So you're not getting a repeat of those. I've got 6x6 vellums, which is lots of fussy cutting elements. And then you've got the A4 vellum as well. I'll open this up and show you because, again, there's no repeating pattern. Totally different to the 6x6s. So you've got that lovely vellum. There you go. And then like a backgroundy one. Again, that sort of nautical map. And then the keys. And what I love is you always get a plain one. You always get a plain piece in there because I think that's going to be one that you will tend to use. You can use it obviously with other collections and stuff. So have I missed anything? Paper is gorgeous. It is. I'm more into floral. Yes, I am. So I was going to use the Flower Shop collection, which is what I always tend to do. That's the thing that I go for first. But I just thought, for a change, I'll use a different collection. But the album that I'm going to make tonight, I've already sort of made my bones of it earlier today. So I've already made one. Because I wanted to make sure that, my measurements and everything like that was fine and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create, obviously from start to finish with the Coral Reef, but in between shows, I'm going to create the other one and I'm going to use the Flower Shop. And then obviously we can have them, I'll be showing you them both side by side, how the same album is going to look so different with just two different collections. Michelle, your own paper collection looks lovely. I think you was meant to say. Looks fabulous is what you were going to say, isn't it? Looks beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm so excited about that. The next week or two, that should all be finished and I will be doing the reveal on it and stuff like that. So very excited. Thank you. But let's get on with this. I'm going to pop those to the side because first thing is first, we're going to need mount board and we're going to need paper. Now, as with all albums, you can create them in many different ways. You can use your actual pattern paper to wrap around your mount board if you want to, but sometimes it's just nice to do it a little bit of a different way. So I've just got lots of paper. So this is 190 GSM. It's like an extra smooth paper that I've got. It's a nice weight paper, so when I fold it round and things like that, it's not going to crack or anything. So that's 190, and I'm going to use that to bind all of my album first, for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes when you're making a bit of a bigger album, you don't want to use all your papers to bind the album together and then feel when it's done, I feel like I need to put something extra on it. And then you're covering up your beautiful papers. So that's one of the reasons. Two, it's just nice to do something in a bit of a different way. But three, if you go to craft fairs or you sell things like that, especially when it's coming up to Christmas, if you go to craft fairs and you've got all your albums already made up, bound together with white paper, this lovely white paper, then what you can offer on your stall, obviously maybe not as big as the project that we're going to do tonight, but what you can offer on your stall is someone can come up and they can say, I love that paper and I love that album. And you can say, well, come back in a couple of hours, depending on how long these craft fairs take. I mean, some of them, they're full day ones, and you can personalize something there and then. Obviously, so this is an 8x8. Obviously, you'd have maybe your papers cut down to 8x8 matte and layer sizes and things like that. But because your whole of your album's already bound in white, to add, the speciality papers on top, it means that you're offering a really personalised service. And again, not as big as we're going to do today, but if you were just creating just normal folding albums and they're already bound together with white card or black or craft, it's just a fabulous way of having a bespoke section on your table that no one else is going to have. But let's get on to the album that I'm going to create today. So what we need 4 pieces of mount board or grey board, whatever it is you use, and they're all 8x8. You're going to need one piece that is 4 1/4 by 8. And then you're going to need 2 pieces. Now, I've already glued those up, but you're going to need 2 pieces of mount board that are 2 inches by 8 inches. I've already cut my papers down to fit. And I'm going to bring in my tools, because these are what I'm going to be using for these. So these are my bookbinding tools, which you'll see me using time and time again. And then we're just going to start. So I've already cut my paper down, because, there's certain things that you don't want to sit and see me do like 6 times. So to cut your paper down, if you've got your full piece of paper or card, get this little tool, which is absolutely brilliant. Line it up at the end, and then you can pop this in here, glue it down, and then what you can then do is cut all the way round. It gives you the perfect border for creating your albums. So it's about 3/4. It's about 3/4 of an inch wide. It just means that you're cutting it nice and neat and square and things like that. So tacky glue. I'm always going to be using my tacky glue if I'm making an album, because it is just uber strong. So going right around those edges and fill it in. And then what I'm going to do is just going to run my finger around the edge and make sure that glue is all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to bring this in, because I'm going to pop it back on there, and I'm going to line it up, and I can pop that on there. And then we can give it a second, give it a good burnish. Michelle, do you know when the flower shop is on Hobby Maker? Your ring, Lynette, your ring is absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. I do love it. Absolutely. Thank you. Got my tools. Thank you for your help. Absolutely brilliant. I'm glad you managed to get those. When is it on Hobby Maker? Yeah, because the other 2, I think, were on Hobby Maker, weren't they? I'm not sure. I honestly couldn't tell you. I think Ciao Bella tend to have 1 show a month on Hobby Maker. I know it's been released on Create and Craft, and you will be able to find it in other online stores as well. If you, I know we tend to be either Create and Craft or Hobby Maker, don't we, as crafters? I'm not fussy. I'll shop anywhere. So whoever's got the best price is where you will find me. So I'm just burnishing that down, making sure that I've got contact really well all around those edges. And I'm going to pop them to the side, because we're going to bring this one in as well. So we're going to do exactly the same. We're just going to glue this down. I mean, I will find out for you for sure when it's on Hobby Maker. I think Create and Craft did have the release, didn't they? The UK launch. So I'm not 100% sure. I can't imagine it be too long, but yeah, I'll definitely find out for you. So again, just giving it a nice burnish, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the same. Tend to get sort of the heel or the butt of my hand and give it a nice, good, even burnish. And then where those edges are, I'll go over that again. So I'm going to leave that one to the side and bring this one back in. This is where we're going to use the corner. I'm just reading Gaz's comment. The pearl is everything, isn't it, Helen? But then I'm a crow and look for all shiny things. Right, so popping that over the corner. We're just going to get rid of those corners. And because this sits right over the corner of my mat board, I know that I'm going to get a lovely, perfect corner, same on all 4 sides. Now, I'm going to bind this. We're going to work on this one a little bit differently. So what we would normally do now is this is where I would fold, or I would score all my sides and then glue them down. But I'm not going to do that. What I want to do is this. So bringing in my ruler, and I'm going to line it up with here. So turn it round. I'm going to line it up with here, and where my mount board ends to where the paper ends, I'm going to just, with my craft knife, put a little mark there. And then I'm going to do the same here. And can you see how it's cut that corner out? Because of the way we're going to bind it, this is just a different way, and it makes your corners less bulky. But you need to make sure that these are really sort of straight. You need a nice clean cut. See how it's come away? So on all 4 sides, so just lining my ruler up with the edge of my mount board, and then I'm just gonna, that tiny little corner, I'm gonna snip it away. And then on the other side, and I've just, you can see it there, we've just got rid of that little wedge. So on the last corner, there we go. So you can see I don't even need to lift that up, do I? You can see how it's cut that little corner out right up to the edge. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish all 4 sides. And what's going to happen is when I fold this side over and then this side, I don't need to tuck in that corner like previously because I've cut it away. But you do need to make sure that if you do this sort of little wedge cut, that you make it nice and straight, because that straight line here, when it folds over, it needs to be in line with the edge. So if you haven't done it straight, it's going to look a little bit messy. But as you can see, it was so simple to do. And I think it's just worth taking that little extra time just to cut those away to make it nice and clean, those edges. Let's turn this over. Give it a good burnish. And then I always go to the opposite side. That's force of habit. If you cut your corners away like that, you don't necessarily need to. I always do, because I always think it looks nicer when you've got your 2 top pieces folded, and when these 2 fold in, it just looks more symmetrical. Your folds in your corners, things like that. Such a simple idea, Diane. It really is. It takes the bulk away from the corners as well. Because of the way that I'm going to put this together, having the bulk away from them corners is just exactly what I need. So again, glue right up to the edge of my mount board. And then bring it over, give it a press down. And then turn back over. Let's go. So last side, and I'll do it again on that other piece. If you're anything like me and you learn easier by being shown rather than being told, then a couple of times it sort of sinks in then. So bring it back over. Oh, the burnish. And then what you've got, let's see if I can you see how clean that corner is? There's no bulk there at all. And all the way, we haven't had to worry about tucking our sides in. It is just, there's no bulk there. It's gone. So especially if you want to use a bit of a thicker card, the thicker the card, the paper that you use, the more bulk you will get in those corners. So this way you can use that thicker paper that you haven't used because it would have been way too bulky. And by doing that, it means that, you know, you can use those papers. So let's bring in my spine and we'll do it again. So corners first. I think the amount of people that have bought these tools from Craftalia, I should have got some sort of commission. I'll have to write to them and let them know. Right, so again, we're going to write, if you don't have these, just use your normal ruler. But you will want these because it just makes your job so much easier, especially when you are putting your mount board spine and then your two mount board pieces together, because what you also get is you get those two. I know lots of you know, but what it allows you to do is it allows you to pop that there, bring in your next piece of mount board, and you've got the perfect amount of space left in there for you. So again, on those corners. And I changed my blade for this because I was using my blade earlier and it was a little bit, it was bent actually at the end. So it wasn't giving me a nice clean cut. And because you're going to see that edge rather than it be folded under, you need to make sure that it's a nice clean edge. There we go. So you can see, and again, we can fold these all over now. And then we'll glue. We'll just get rid of these pieces. So again, put right up the edge of that mount board. Yeah. So what's everyone having for tea? Or have you had your tea, or is it not even anywhere near tea time where you are? I think I'm fancying a ham and cheese toastie. So it's because I miss Christina's ham and cheese toasties, you see, from in the cafeteria. I mean, my husband's are lovely, but they're not Christina's, can I just say? And Ben, if you're watching, I do apologise. I don't know, it's just the ham she used. And maybe I should give her a message. Can you tell me what the tools you are using, Cole? Karen, so this is a bookbinding tool set. So if you just search on Google for a bookbinding toolkit or tool set, bookbinding ruler set, you will find it. I got mine from Craftalia, pretty sure I'm saying it right, and it was about £11 for this. I think you can get it on Amazon as well. I think Craftalia are on Amazon, and you can get that from Amazon as well. But just Google it. There's so many people and places that you can get these from. Some have got lots more bits in with them, and you can get lots of different extra bits. In fact, I bought this. Oh, so I got this as well. So these are, as you can see, divider assembly clamps. So these are absolutely brilliant for if you're making boxes. If you're wanting to make a box out of mount board, let me bring in a couple of pieces. And you're popping your box together and you want to glue your edges. You're going to pop this in here and you're going to bring, oh, can't get it in. Slide it up, there you go. You're going to bring that in there. You're going to have your glue attached there and it's just going to sit and it's going to hold and it's going to dry. And you can see that I've got another one here. So if you were creating a divider in your box, I couldn't think of the word, you can pop that in there. You bring your divider up and it's going to sit and it's going to glue, it's going to dry. And then it really makes your box making so much easier, especially when you're trying to hold all your corners. You've got the tools here for it. So again, that's something I'm going to be creating a box at some point and showing you how to use these as well. The thing is, if it makes your job a lot easier, then I'm all for it. And they're not expensive either. I think they're about £5 or £6 for all of those. So I've got those two pieces here, and then those two as well. And I think it was about £5 something. So again, not expensive. And it comes in pink as well. So if you're into your pink, it comes in pink as well. But brilliant tools. They make your job easier and quicker and more efficient. Right, so let me move those to the side, because that is going to be my middle spine. What's Ben cooking for you? I think I'm torn between a ham salad sandwich, because he makes the most amazing ham salad sandwich, and a ham and cheese toasty. And I'll not decide until he says to me, right, what do you want? I'm like, just surprise me. It's too hard to decide sometimes, isn't it? Gaz, how could you? Need a ham and cheese toasty, or say Ben's wasn't as nice as Christine's? You do need these tools, definitely. Again, they're not expensive, and they just make your job so much easier. They really do. Right, so while I was talking, I've glued my sides down, and I shouldn't have. So let me find another piece of mount board, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So you can see I've got 4 of these. I've got 2 smaller spines, and I've got this larger one. Now, what I wanted to do, I just got carried away talking. On all of my spines, we're just going to glue the top down and the bottom up, because then what we're going to do is we're going to glue it like this. So we're going to glue it to the inside, and then let me just fold that so you can see. And what I'm going to have is we're going to have a lovely album like that. So let's be gluing these. So it reminds me not to glue the sides, just the tops and bottoms. So top and bottom. And yes, I'm repeating it to myself so I don't forget. So just fold that over, and that one. Just hold those for a second. This is a genuine need. I make a lot of 3D projects, and I swear a lot. This paper, so my husband bought it for me, and he got it from, I've no idea. It is so smooth. It is so lovely. And actually, so this paper, he doesn't know I'm using it, because this is the paper that he bought me in bulk, that I am printing my own papers, my own patterns onto for my own collection, because it is the most beautiful paper that I think I've ever worked with. So if he's watching, he might pop it in the comments, but if not, I'll find out off him afterwards, and let you know where I got it from. It's just wonderful. I've worked with a lot of paper, and this one is just, it's beautiful. It's smooth. It folds. It doesn't crack. It works like a dream. If paper can work like a dream. Right, so I just need to get all these glued down. So I'll speed this up just a little, because on the 4 main pieces, so we're going to make sort of a gatefold album. So on the 4 main pieces, I can fold all 4 sides over, but my spines are going to be what are attaching all the main pieces together, which is why I need those sides not glued down. That burnish. Sausage and chicks. Oh, I haven't had that for a long time. Did you have beans? Sausage, chips, and beans was definitely a staple when I was growing up. Sausage, chips, and beans. I'm pretty sure that the sausages that we had when I was little, though, most of it you couldn't technically call meat. Saw those bits but didn't know what they were for, but I need them too. Sorry, not sorry. The thing is, when you are box making and you are album making, it is all about having those precise corners. So if you've got the tools and it makes that job a lot easier. And they're not expensive either. It's sort of a win-win, isn't it? Just where will you sell your own paper collection? So for now, because it's one of those, you never know how it's going to go. I'm just going to be selling them on my own page. So, obviously once they're ready to go, I'll be popping up little videos and things like that, little showing you everything. And then you just order it through me. And then when it gets really, really successful, there'll be a website and things like that. But for now, it's just going to be just through little old me, because it's just me that's doing them. I'm not doing them with any other company yet. You never know. Someone might see them and be like, let's collaborate. I'd love to do your designs. So you never know. Michelle, will you be selling them out of the back of the car in car park? Absolutely. Local car boot sale. The thing is, it's starting out small, isn't it? And then building it up from there. Last one, and then I'll have to redo that main spine, but that's all right. It won't take a minute. And we did say we were doing it from start to finish. So you get to sit and watch me glue, but we get to talk about food and papers, so you can't complain, really, can you? I must admit, I saw these bits ages ago and thought to myself, do I really need them? But when you see someone else use them and you think, yeah, I do. So I think it was Helen Griffin. I think she's got her own. She's with Craft Stash, isn't she? Simply Made Crafts, isn't she? I think she's got her own, but hers was out of stock. And then I saw these on Craftalia and they were so cheap. And then I got them and I wondered to myself what I'd ever done without them. I love it when you find a tool that you actually do use, because I think we all buy gimmicky tools and things and we use them a couple of times and we forget we've got them because we don't really need them. About to book a recent holiday to Sicily. Oh, Michelle, of course I had beans. Sicily. I'm not jealous. Diane, Sicily. Is it not you who's just been to Sicily? I've just been talking to someone recently who said there was in Sicily or on holiday in Sicily, which is why they didn't join. Right, let me see if I can because if you're going back, I'm very happy to join you. We just grab another piece of this card. So what you should have is 4 pieces. Oh, it's here. 4 pieces with your paper, sort of the base paper we're using, all 8 by 8. So you're going to have those 4. You're going to have 2 mini spines that are 2 inches wide by the 8 inches high. And if it's a spine, I don't want to glue my side pieces down yet. And then another main piece, spine, which is 4 1/4 by 8. Now my side pieces shouldn't be glued down, so we're just going to quickly cut another piece. So bringing in my guillotine, because this works perfect to cut my mount board. So 4 1/4, bring it down here. By 8. So that there. Did I do with my plain card? It's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So the beautiful 12 by 12 pieces. So pop that to the side. Where is my glue? It's here. So very quickly, we pop this one down. Now, I could have done a really simple album, but I think we all sort of get the gist of how to throw together a simple album. Even though I'll do many, many more, I thought we'd do something just a little bit different. Bring that in. Just get that glue off it. So pop that in the corner and then pop that in there. Now, if we were carrying on, if it was like my main page and I was going to put a spine here, this is where you would either bring this in because it lines up at the top and the bottom, or you can bring this in because this one's got 2 widths on it. It has got a 2 mil and a 1.5. So again, depending on what you're going for, would depend on which one of those that you use. And then you pop this round, doing it upside down and back to front. And then you just trim it all the way. Gives you the perfect amount down each side. There we go. Just quite cut to the end there. And then at least you get to see me cut those corners again. So just in case you was wondering. Oh, you're talking about my papers. Oh, you're all so lovely. I'm so excited. In fact, actually, I think my husband's more excited because he's been doing the actual computer work for me. So I've given my ideas and he's created some stuff for me. And then I've been like, no, can I have this or can you do that? And then he's gone to the drawing board and he's sort of put it all together for me. Because could you imagine me trying to create them on a computer? It would never happen, would it? So yeah, definitely Ben's been absolutely amazing. One of these days, maybe I'll learn something on the computer other than turning it on. But when it doesn't interest you, it's hard for you to remember it, I think. I don't know if that's just me, but when you've got no interest in something and you have to learn it, it's a bit like when you're at school and you have to do history or maths. When you've got no interest, it doesn't stick in. Or is that just me? Right, so just gluing the top and bottom. Don't let me forget. talking about actually exams, things like that. My son has just done his last A level today, and then my daughter has got, I think she's got a few more to do next week of her GCSEs. Michelle, you don't have simple in your vocabulary. Yes, you read the wrong post. Would love to go back. Got back yesterday. So you had a good time, I'm gathering, Diane. Right. I will concentrate for a second. So this is going to be the main bit. So if we was making a traditional album, we would pop it together like so. And you can see, you can see how not bulky. I know that's not technically a word or a sentence. There's no bulk in those corners at all. So again, if you want to use a thicker paper, you absolutely can. Get those corners cut away. And when it folds over, it is so flat. It is just perfect. So I'm going to fold that, and we're going to fold that. So traditional looking album. Normally we sort of will glue it to the outside, but we're going to glue it to the inside. And then it just, especially if you've used a different pattern here, it looks lovely. It's just, again, it's a nice way to do it, and I find it so much more fun, but so much easier to do this because I don't need to worry about tech. So what we normally do is you've created your spine, you've got extra paper on the outside, you're going to glue it down and you fold it over, don't you? And again, it adds extra bulk here. I know it's not a lot, but doing it this way, it sort of gets rid of that. But again, it's just a different way to do it, depending on what you're creating. You know, it's just fun to have lots of different ways and lots of different ideas, isn't it? So you just get rid of that glue on my fingers. So we're going to bring that right up to here. You're going to push it as close as you can, making sure that it's lined up at the bottom. I'm going to bring that over. And I'm then going to bring this over, and I'm going to make sure that it's straight. Now I've gone a little wonky, so I'm just going to adjust it. And because I've used glue and not red liner, I've got enough time to adjust that. Can you see? So I can bring it back over here now and give it a good burnish. And the good thing about using these tools to do this is, you know, all of your borders, I don't know if you can see, there you go. All of your borders are exactly the same depth on each side. So when I pop this border over here, it's going to go perfectly in line with the one that's on here. So you've got sort of that visual mark straight away where you can look and think, yeah, I've got that in line. It's sort of where it should be. Then we're going to do the same again. So we're going to glue this. I think on one of my last tutorials, I did the smaller sort of junky type journaly album that went in the birdhouse with this same technique. So I can see here that is definitely, I've got a little bit wonky. So let's just adjust that just a little. Bring it over and make sure that you're happy with it. And I am. So lay it back down and give it a nice burnish. And when you stand it up, you can see I've got my lovely album. Can you see how there's none of that bulk in the corners? And then when I turn it over, you've got that lovely finish here. So let's lay that back down. And then we will bring in another one of the spines. So I'm going to move that across because this is going to go on here, and we're going to put it on in exactly the same way. So this is the smaller one. So popping, so the glue is going on the outside. It's going on the outside of that tab, not on the inside. And I'm spreading it with my finger to make sure that I've got it right. I mean, you don't have to use your finger. If you use a little paintbrush to do this with, then it's obviously all set, isn't it? Bring that round straight away because you can wiggle it into place before that glue dries, and then give it a good burnish. So bring that even further down, and then it's not just going to be one long piece of paper and card attached together, I promise. Gaz, yes, they are gorgeous. I need them. I love them. They were very Bridgerton. Ah, yes. Someone else said that to me. They were very Bridgerton. And I never even thought about it, but yeah, it's big at the minute, isn't it? And can I just say, I've not even watched an episode. Not one. It's not something I watch. So again, push that up, making sure you're in line top and bottom, and bring this over. And when you bring this over, this is going to lift a little bit, and that's absolutely fine. Make sure that you've got it straight. Bring it over and make sure that you're in line, which I am. So I'm going to lay it back down, and then we're going to burnish it. So again, can you see how you've got that lovely finish? So let me lay that back down, just to give it a bit of a burnish, just a little bit more. When you get really, really successful, will you still be doing lives? Yes, I love doing this. I really enjoy, but the thing is, I wouldn't be able to sort of release my own papers if I didn't have guys like you who were saying, I will buy them. But yes, I do love doing the lives. It's a lot of fun getting to still chat with you all. You and Ben are a dream team. It's lovely. Thank you. He's pretty fabulous, I've got to say. Handcrafted by Gaz. I love all of Michelle's makes. It was always so much fun being a guest with her when she was working for the company that shall not be named. It was, and that was, a craft along was my favourite bit. My most favourite bit of working there was the interaction, getting to chat and getting to read everyone's messages. It was just awesome, and that's the bit that I miss more than anything. So if I stand this up, can you see how we've got that lovely gatefold album coming together? So we're going to do the same on this side. We're going to put that extra spine there, and then I've got my extra piece to put on. So I'm going to turn it round this way. Because I'm left-handed, I just find it easier to work on this side than that side. And we're going to do exactly the same. And the beauty of this is, I know I keep talking about the bulk in the corners, and I know it's not a great amount of bulk. If you're doing a normal album, it really doesn't matter whether you cut those little notches away or not. But when you are doing an album like this, and you can see, you can really see the corners and the folds and the burnishes, it really pays to just take that extra couple of minutes to get rid of those corners. It gives it that really professional finish. So again, just going to smooth that out with my finger. And the only thing I will say about smoothing it out with your finger is it grabs so much quicker. So when you are popping this on, make sure to turn this over as soon as you possibly can to make sure that you're straight or your join is straight. So what I will say is if you do struggle with that, then revert to this. If you struggle with being a little bit quicker, this is still absolutely brilliant. I wouldn't attach my paper to my mount board with this. I would definitely use my tacky glue, but these sort of tabs, they're attaching really to the paper. So yeah, you can use that if you feel like you couldn't be quick enough. I mean, you will get there though, definitely. Right, so again, if I just fold that over, can you see how tight and fluff? I know I keep going on about it, and it's just because it's the simplest thing that makes such a huge difference. I love Gaz's dungarees. Diane, I'm with you. I loved seeing him on that, and I loved those dungarees. They really were brilliant. Lisa Ritter, would you please share the brand and where you got? Yes, I absolutely will do. I don't know where. Just stay there. Don't move. Let me see if I can find the active papers. Oh, right. So it's a company called Active Papers, and it's a 200 GSM. So I tell a lie. It's their smooth white card. So 200 GSM. It's Active Papers. It's almost silky. It's just absolutely beautiful. Right, it's behind me on a shelf, but I didn't realise that the name was there with it. And I'm glad I looked because I've been saying it's a 190. It was awful how the not named company went about things. But a positive note, we get more in-depth education. Now, every cloud has a silver lining and everything. Myself, Jan and Corinne, we all really can spend so much more time not only going into depth with the things that we create, but we can be creating things that we enjoy doing. Now, that's not to say that I didn't enjoy the projects that we brought to you before, but the difference is we've got more time, so it means that we are definitely doing the projects that we want to do because we have got the time. So there's always the upside to the down, isn't there? And I think that's what you have to focus on, definitely. Let me bring that over. And it's like I've said before, there was so much good that came out of that. I still speak to Debbie Robinson all the time, Jan Corin and Julia, absolutely amazing. Still talk to Becky Swan, and Nicola, lovely Nicola, the producer, Charlotte. So there's so much good will come out of everything. There we go. So look at that. So once that is all sort of put together, you've got a lovely, an absolute beautiful, it's quite big. So it's 4 inches wide and it's 8 inches deep. So if you remember, I can flip from one conversation to another very quickly, can't I? So if you remember that this was 4 1/4 inch was this mount board that I cut, and both of these were 2 inches, but it works out perfectly because if I bring that round here, so this is now At the bottom, it's 4.5, sorry, at the bottom or at the back, it's 4.5 inch wide, and here it's 4.5 inch wide, because you've got to remember you've got all that extra width going on by the covered mount board here and here and inside as well. So even though the big spine was bigger than the two small spines, it works absolutely perfectly. So that's the main bones. So now you decide what you want to do. But you can see what I mean. If you had a normal album at a craft fair, it's not going to take you too much longer to mat and layer this up. Obviously, this size it would. But if you're having a box on one side and then an album on the other, so your two smaller spines, that is where I'm either going to put my pages, or pages on one and a box on the other, or on this piece here, you could have it flipping out, sort of like a book glued to the back. So glue your back piece and have a book either up and down, or have your back piece glued here and have a page that flips up and flips out, flips down and flips over. And then you're going to close that up, and that's that one side closed away. And then this side could have a box attached. It could have anything. The possibilities are limitless. But again, if you wanted it to be as simple as just having a spine here with all your pages and a spine here with all your pages, you absolutely can do. You could also do the same here if you wanted. You could have all the spines here, but you just have to be a bit canny with how you did it, because when it closes, it would have to sit in between your pages, which is not a problem, because if you've got pages here, you could have sort of folding out that way, that half folding out that way. So then when you do close it, you can still close it over those pages. There's so many possibilities just by adding that little bit of an extra, well, it's quite long, but obviously folded up, it's not. It's going to look fabulous on anyone's bookshelf. So see what I mean? So on this one is where you could have your spine. On this one, you could have a box attached to this side. You could have a box attached that way, and you could be slotting things in. So many ideas. You could have a box on this side, on the inside. You could have then a couple of pages. So when it opens, you would have sort of an inch deep box here, and then just on that side of your spine, or again, if you're gluing it your page to the back, so you can have flips coming up and out, you could have a box and on pages, and then on the other side as well, a box and pages. Am I giving you too many? I've just had about 10 ideas pop into my head. You could, Gaz, this could be, if you made it bigger, because there's nothing to say that you can't make it bigger, but if you've got 8x8s or 6x6s, or if you've got your stamps or your dies or your stencils, you could, have boxes and then have them on your shelves with, on the main spine with whatever it is named on there, things like that. So many ideas. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some of those gorgeous papers, and we're going to decorate this up. So I'm going to open it up first. So even though I'm not right sure what we're going to be doing with our spines, we still need to cover it all anyway. And the good thing is, on these main pieces here, you don't have to worry about making sure that it's covering all your edges and things like that, because we've done that with the white paper. So let's bring in, just trying to grab papers, and so this spine, so working from middle out, we're going to cover the spine up first. And the hardest thing is going to be deciding on which ones to use. But I think on all of my spines, I'm going to use a plainer paper. And then to cover here, I'm going to use a more patterned paper. You're so lovely, thank you. And I am here for the duration. Fabulous. Thank you, Lisa. How many pages could you put on the spine? So this spine here is 4 inches wide. So it depends how what you're going to be putting on your pages. If you're going to be putting a lot of depth on your pages, I tend to have mine 1/2 inch wide. So spaced 1/2 inch. So if that's 4 inches and we're spacing it 1/2 inch, you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8-ish pages. So it would, on the smaller spines, I would say about 4 pages each. So let me find a light-ish paper or a plainish paper. Here we go. Wait a minute. Perfect. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't something fabulous on the back before I used it. So pop that to the side. So to cover this, so for the spine bit, we do need to cover these bits up. So we're going to measure the width of this spine, which is 4 1/4, and I'm going to go roughly 1.5 inches over. So what are we, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/4 inches. It really doesn't matter because the edges are going to be covered. I just want to make sure that it's wide enough that it covers all that. And we know it's 8 inches high. 8 inches high. So we're going to go down just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to go down 1/4 inch. And then before I go any further, I'm going to pop it on here. And I'm going to make sure that I'm happy with the top and the bottom, which I am. So what did we say? 4 1/4, and then about 1 inch either side. So then that's going to sit on there. And then my other two, I'm going to do them with the same sort of pattern. So what did we say? They were 2. So we're going to go and see how much is left on this. 6 and a bit. So I'll go just over 3. And that, oh, it does just cover it. That will do. So covering this spine, entirely up to you. You could put some red liner tape down each side of the mount board. It's entirely up to you. What I tend to do is, to make sure that it sticks, is I just put some tacky glue there and there. And then I'm going to glue this piece up. And it just means that when I'm gluing this piece of paper up, because I'm not gluing the whole thing solid, so I'm just going across like that, it means that I've still got that covered. So let's pop that on there. So give it a good burnish. Where's my... Oh, Rachel Brown, hi. I'm glad it's not just me that is late to stuff. And it's absolutely fine that you're late. Not late, that you've just joined. It's lovely to have you here. Shall I take my foot out of my mouth now? Right, when I'm burnishing, I'm making sure to give a real good burnish down where those the mount board piece ends. And then bring this over. Do the same on this spine. Thank you for answering my question. You're very welcome. I do get distracted halfway through answering a question. So If I don't ever answer it fully, just let me know. I definitely one of those people who has 3-minute conversations in a conversation, if you haven't already noticed. I like to think it's a superpower because I know what I know what I'm talking about. So pop that on there, making sure that it's even top and bottom and straight. Here we go. Oh my God, you could make albums for all your favourite collections. Yeah, you definitely could. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for answering my question. Thinking that, oh my gosh, Donna, thinking this will be a cute album for my daughter twins coming in July. It would be perfect because you have got a side for each twin. So if you do things like, you save all those little bits like the first lock of hair, obviously all of the bajillion photos that you will take of them, but all those little keepsakes, so that comes in absolutely perfect if you wanted to create these as albums or boxes and albums. So let's bring that over there and then we'll pop this last one on. Do that first so I don't forget. What I love about album making is besides the fact that there is a million different ways and different ideas, and you could make 100, 200 albums and never repeat, never have two albums the same. It is just so mindful. This is my favorite bit, creating the actual base, seeing it come together. When you've got that idea in your head and it actually works. Because there's nothing worse than having a fabulous idea and it sort of not coming together. So give it a good burn. So I'm just reading the comments. Rachel, are you from Australia? And what time would it be there then? Are you 23 hours into future? Future. Getting there with the hay fever. Right, so I'm not going to fold those up yet because I want my piece of paper to dry. It's my middle one first, isn't absolutely perfectly. Before I make sure I leave it 5, 10, 15 minutes if you can, to make sure that this is absolutely glued exactly where you want it to be. You want it uber dry because when you start to lift it, you don't want your paper to start lifting. So I'm going to lift this side while I'm popping my scoring tool down that seam. And then it just all helps the paper to tuck in where it needs to go. And you can bring that up and you've got that lovely clean line there. So just let me try and turn this round. I didn't think that bit through, did I? There we go. So this side, because I'm left-handed and I find I can only do it in a certain way. I think we're all the same though, really, aren't we? So doing the same on that side, give it a good... Oh, and be careful when you're doing this. You want to be firm, but not too hard because you don't want to pop through your paper. And then, so I did this side first, second, didn't I? So we can do the same. Just a little bit at a time. There we go. And then this bit as well. Bringing it up. Oh, so let's bring this piece over. No, I need to turn it. We need to turn it again. Let me turn it again. Feel a little bit like a contortionist. And then this last one. Here we go. So again, that means my spine is nice and neat now. Go. So you can see how it tucks in lovely. So let's open that back up again. So I need four pieces of more patterned this time. So I want a real alternation. So I might use those two actually, because they're quite different to the ones that I've used. And again, it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever you were sort of liking. I think we'll use those two. And then if I do decide to put a box on one side, I'm not covering up like the big lighthouse or something like that. So we know they're 8 by 8. We're going to go down that 1/4 of an inch with them both, aren't we? So, and then the other one. We'll use the top bit. Actually, yeah, let me just, I've gone down a 1/4 of an inch rather than 1/8 on one thread. So let's just trim them all the same. There we go. So I'm going to pop that one here. That way. And then this one here. See, it's like, do I cover that side up? Do I cover that side up? Just, I think, yeah. So those two will do. So you've got choices now for covering that piece up there and that piece up there. Because this is a pattern on here that hasn't got text in a particular way per se, you could bring it across a little bit. In fact, I'll show you on this one. What you could do is just patch two of them together. But if you don't like the patch look, make it so it's obviously, two different patterned pieces. So pop them together like that. And then you could pop a piece of white, a strip of white card across if you wanted, just a real thin strip, like half, 1/4 of an inch, to make it obvious, but you can sort of see that it's obviously two different papers. So if you've not got enough paper to go round, then make a point of showing that you've put different patterns on there. So let's glue these two pieces in. Go and stay around. I'm going to twist the top off of it. It hasn't even got a top on. Oh, you're in the UK. Oh, see, that's me listening to Gaz. Because I sort of saw he put, are you in Australia? I found, works great for me. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that, but I gather it's for your hay fever. Yeah, that's them. I mean, I think, were you discussing that last time, your hay fever? It's a night, because then I went on to say that my face once swelled up with hay fever. We was on holiday in Skegness. We were at Butlins and my face was feeling really weird. My husband didn't say anything until we got back to the caravan, because if I'd have been out in public with swollen eyes and nose and a red face, I would have run and hid somewhere. So let's line that up, and I'm using the tops of these pieces of paper to make sure I'm lining it up properly. There we go. Just push that up a little low at the top. There, that's better. Okay. Right, give that a good burnish. But that comes just before the score. So we're not adding any more paper over that burnished area. And then we'll bring this one over and do the same. Big old pollen situation going on. Yes, sad for the turtle. It was, Diane. It really was. You see, you turn it over to glue it, and then you realise how gorgeous the other side is, and you don't know which side to use then. I'm going to go to the other side. There is so many people suffering this year with hay fever. I mean, like a really weird amount, huge amount. I'm just glad that I am not having any issue. I'm touching wood. Touch wood. Because I don't want no more swollen faces or swollen anything, and then no one telling me. Oh. So I'm looking for my pin. I've lost my pin because my glue is getting a bit clogged up. Let's bring this one in. I've had the pin out of it for too long, and I've got a little bit of a situation going on. There we go, that's better. There we go. And then give that another burnish as well. And it's coming together lovely. What I love is, even though they're all different patterns, they flow lovely. They all work together lovely. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the outside. We're going to do that first, because I want to decide which is going to be sort of my front. Do you want the front to be your front? Or do you want it to be that way? I mean, to be honest, you could have it stood this way if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you, but I'm going to work on my front, because we're just technically now matting and layering, deciding what pattern we want on display. So I did sort of fussy cut this out. So in the 8x8 pad, this was on there, and I thought this is really nice. And I think I'm going to have that on the front. Oh, look how nice that looks with nothing else. Oh, if you was into the sort of minimalist, that would look lovely. But I fussy cut that out. And what I'm going to do with that is pop it to the side for a minute, because I do want a piece of paper underneath this one. So I'm going to pop that one on first, because it sort of ties in. So again, just slim down that 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to pop that on here. And what I'm going to do is, this is going to go on the front. Move that up. And I'm going to have it raised, almost like a real, what are those windows called? Is it a portal on a submarine? Almost like it is really raised, almost like you could open it. So, and I love that white border around. So that's another benefit of having the white as my base. You get to have that really clean white effect coming through. So because I'm just paper onto paper now, I'm going to use my collal. Michelle, you need the glue press. I couldn't bear no. Gaz, what is that? Is that that's the hand, that's where you put your glue in, that little gun type thing, isn't it? I did think that was pretty cool, but saw the price, and I'm probably, I'm pretty sure it's probably worth it, but I just think about what other stuff I could get with that money, like the fun stuff. So let's pop that on here. I tell you what I do need though. I was doing some stamping the other day and I was using the Lisa Horton Ultimate, which is absolutely brilliant. But those it looks like one of those hockey puck things that you play with at the seaside, when you're playing hockey, and it's like that little press. So when I'm stamping, I can use that to give it a real good burnish everywhere. Now, I'm sure it's got a name. I'm sure someone will tell me. But could do with one of those. But yeah, the glue press thing, I did have a look and I thought it was fabulous. But I don't know. I'm being very frugal at the minute. I'm a Yorkshire lass. So I'm not being frugal. I'm being a little bit tight. Where can we buy the house from? Oh, you see, now I don't know. I've had a look for it and I can't find it. And it's been released. So maybe the stockists just don't have it yet. I have messaged Luana today from Ciao Bella. I'm just waiting for her to get back to me. So, Diane, are you over here? You're here, aren't you? Not the US. As soon as I find out where they've got them in stock, I will pop a post up on my Facebook page with the links to those places. So that is definitely going to go on some foam pads or something like that, because you've got this just peeking out as well. And I think that just looks absolutely lovely. Also, though, don't forget, before you commit to popping anything on there, you've got a couple of beautiful stencils that come with this collection. So either with inks or some little texture pastes, anything like that. And you've also got these stamps. So even though this paper is really quite busy, you can still go in with some stamps. So let me bring this one out because I love this particular stamp here. So deciding where I want that to go. We're quite busy down here, so I think we're going to pop this stamp just up here. So I'm just going to decide what colour to use. Because I was saying when I know that Ciao Bella also do lots of inks. So let's decide. Muted copper. Oh, muted copper, definitely. I'm going to bring in my rocker block for this. But I must admit, when I'm working with these kind of papers, what I tend to do is I tend to ink that up and I will tend to do that because it gives you a not full contact stamp, which works beautifully with these. In fact, I will do it like that so I can show you exactly what I mean. So I'm going to ink my stamp just like we normally would. And then you are going to get a little bit inky doing this. So if you don't like getting inky, then I wouldn't necessarily advise this one. And then Let me just bring in a scrap of paper because I want to do one stamp. Look how beautifully it's stamped, even with no rocker block or anything like that. I want to do more of a second generation one. So pop it down there, give it a press and lift it up. And that's really light. You can barely see that. So we'll do another one and I'll add a lot more ink this time. And then we will lift it up and we'll carry on across there. So just give it a bit of a press and then lift it up. And you can see it works beautifully along with all that pattern that's already on there. So now when I add this, I've got more of the sort of the orange around the top as well as around that bottom left. Definitely needs to go on some foam pads, that, doesn't it? So let's bring this in. So these are my big sheets from Sticks to You because we need to cut a big square for the middle. So let's cut that in two. Let me add some glue. So I'm just going to pop it right in the middle because what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a second one on, but you can guarantee if I glue it all the way to the edges, I'm going to get to the end and want to fussy cut something or tuck some cheesecloth or some sort of embellishment, and I'm not going to be able to tuck it under. So what I will always do is just glue into the middle. So if you're using foam pads or hot glue or whatever glue, try and leave a space around the outside. Then when you're putting all those finishing touches to it later, you're still able to tuck stuff underneath. There we go. And then I'll bring it more to the middle. There we go. There we go. So cheesecloth, what I mean by cheesecloth is literally cheesecloth. So you get it sort of from the cooking sections and stuff like that. But what I love about, so I've wet mine because it was perfectly smooth, and I've screwed it out so I've got lots of texture on here. So what you can do with this is you just go into, it works with the flower shop collection. So if you've got a pretty collection, it works with that. If you've got, let me just move that stamp with the ink on. If you've got more of a rustic-y collection like this, it works for this as well. So you're going to definitely get lots of frayed edges. And then what we can do is we can tuck that under there. And it's because it's not something where you're going to be adding things like flowers and, things like that. It works really well, but what works fabulous with it, just bear with me because obviously huge project for a change. Pop that here. What I love doing with my cheesecloth is definitely love it when it's all screwed up. Make sure that you've got lots of frayed bits, even if you only use those bits on your project. So then we're going to pick, what shall we go with? We'll go with the green. So pop some of that green there. Add some water and then ink it up. Maybe that green wasn't the best to go with because it just looks dirty. Let's pick a different one. Let's pick this. So we'll go with this one because it's fossilized amber and it's gonna work with the colours of this. So really just ink it up. And there, so you've got the most beautiful inked up coloured cheesecloth. Now I'm going to pop that to the side to dry. I'm going to bring in this to clean this up with. And then it's going to tie in with any colours that you're using, any project, and it just looks fabulous. So there we go. Pop those to the side. Yeah, so tip of the day, don't use the green because it just didn't work. So let's pop that to that side. Let me just give it a quick dry. And then so that is my front. And again, what I'm going to do is before I cover all these up, I'm going to decide on how I want this to close. I can attach some ribbon. I can attach a little lock. Did have my lock out. It's gone. Oh, there's my pin though. At least I found something. Let me pop that in there. Right. So you could have a lock going over there. I've got let me show you the lock that I'm talking about. It's on a totally different project. But you can get all sorts of little different locks. I mean, it was a few pound. It was about £3, I think. So it opens out and it opens up. So lots of different locks that you can get to be doing enclosure with. I'm going to decide on that in a little bit. Just can't make my mind up. But what we're going to do is I'm going to do this piece. So it's 4¼ by 8. So again, we're going to cut a lovely piece of paper, and on this spine, I'm going to use a piece that's, I don't know, you're just going to use a piece that you've picked and you think that is beautiful. So let's trim this down. So 4¼ So we'll trim that to 4 1/8. I'm just going to pop it on. I'm quite happy with that. And then 1/8 of an inch down. We're going to use that. So let's bring this in. Make sure that you're happy with your border and everything. I'm happy with that. I'm loving that. So before we glue that on, we're going to get another piece of mount board, and we're going to judge how much smaller you want it. Again, this is just absolutely up to you. Oh, hi, Odds. How are you? My last two have been at 6 instead of at 7, so I think some people are still tuning in a little bit later. Right, so I'm gonna have my white border around, and I'm gonna decide how big I want this. So I'm roughly going there. So either with, when you're only cutting a little small piece like that, I tend to just use just my ruler. Let's do that. Pop it on. I love that. So then a real alternating paper to go on top. So, because wait a minute. This one. So I'm going to pop, no, I'm going to use that side. So very much like we was doing before with the way that we've wrapped the main album, we're going to glue this and stick it down. And we're going to pop it on the spine. Yeah, definitely having cloggage issues with that. Cloggage issues. See, it's because I need that thing you were saying about Gaz, the glue press. So let me just use that just to, there we go. Get that nice and straight. And then I always love doing this on a spine of any album I create. It adds depth and interest. So let's, again, corners. And then we are going to take that bulk away again. So just bringing it in to put my corners away. There we go. There's something quite satisfying about doing that. Third one, and then, oh yeah, fourth one. Wait a minute, let me get it the right way round. And then all of these do need folding over this time. I'm not going to forget and accidentally do it wrong. But again, because this is going to be going onto the spine, taking that bulk away from the corners just works. It just makes it look really smooth and lovely. Counting down the weeks till the school summer holidays. Well, I was saying earlier, both of mine have done their exams, GCSEs and A levels. Ollie's finished with his A levels, so he's done now. He's going back to school, well, college next week. They've got a barbecue, a leavers barbecue, and then that's it. He's done. My daughter has got some more exams next week, and then she's done. Which is, it's incredibly weird because my eldest, Joseph, he's 27. So I've been like doing school runs and things like that for the past 24, 25 years. So to not have school runs anymore is going to be incredibly weird. I'm going to feel almost retired. There we go. So you've got that lovely little bit of depth. Now you can pop that onto some more foam if you want it a little bit deeper, but it looks lovely. So if I bring in now, let's open this up again. One of these days, I'll create a project that I can manage. Here, isn't it? So we're going to pop that there. And then this is going to go in the middle, and you've got that lovely spine where you can do anything that you want with it then. Don't turn your paper around because you want to use that side instead. So gluing it all up. Pop it down. I mean, to be honest, the outsides of these you could have decorated up before you attached them all together because we've attached them on the insides, haven't we? But I'm definitely one who likes to build the project first because my mind changes so much, or you see something a little bit different, and as you saw earlier when I sort of had got it all together and I was saying you could do this or you could do that. So it's always why I tend to build it and then decide. Build it to a certain extent. Obviously, there's, particular bits that you obviously don't do. For instance, deciding whether I'm going to put magnet, you can't see, can you? Right on the end up there, deciding whether I'm going to add magnets as my enclosure. So that's why I haven't covered the outsides yet. If I decide against magnets, I can put my papers on there, and then I can add a lock if I want to sew. Or just have a huge wrap, or just some ribbons. So many choices. There we go. So I love that effect. There you go. See the depth on there. More time for crafting. Absolutely. Yes, because my daughter's been, her exam, she's been doing all this revision and she keeps kicking me off my own desk. She finds it better to study down here. And, I can't be saying to her, no. I wouldn't go down very well. So that's the front. And again, I haven't glued any of the edges down because if I want to decide, especially when my cheesecloth has dried, bringing that in, look at the colour. It looks a bit yellow. So what I would do is I would get one of my oranges and I would add a little bit of that as well. But I'm going to wait till it dries, see how it dries. But yeah, leave all the edges so you can tuck things under if you need to. I've got my spine done. Handcraft by Gaz. I feel as though that is misappropriation of crafting space. It should be challenged, Michelle. Definitely. I do agree with you there, Gaz. I think, yeah. But she's done now, so, I can't complain too much. So these particular these two pieces here, because of the way that closes, I'm just going to pop some lovely patterned paper on there. Can't have no height or depth on those two because of the way that it closes. If you wanted to have height and depth on there, you would obviously adjust these particular sizes here. So again, it's deciding, but because they're just going to be plain, no mats and layers or anything, no height, I'm going to make sure that I pick a couple of the pieces that have got a beautiful element. So you've got that crab there, which is going to work beautifully there. And then let's find another piece. You've got this piece, you could cut that corner off, that would work beautifully against it. Actually, that one, because you can see my spine, and I'm not going to be attaching anything to that spine. We're going to be attaching to our smaller spines. So because you can see that, actually, that colour in that piece works beautifully. So I'm definitely going to use that. And then I'm going to look for another piece that sort of resembles that, the sort of little bit lighter. Oh, so yes. So we're going to have the crab on that side, and we're going to get I'm going to cut that seahorse. There's certain words that I never ever remember. Seahorse is one. I always forget what a seahorse is called, and I have to look at it for a couple of minutes before it comes to me. And paperclip. For the life of me, and I can't tell you why, I can never remember the word paperclip, which drives me balmy because I use them all the time. And for something that I use all the time, you would think I'd remember what it were called. But no, not happening. So all you saw me doing there was I brought it down a little bit because I wanted to make sure that See the Beauty in Life was on there. If I'd have done it further up, it would have trimmed it off a little bit. So again, don't feel like you have to cut the corner if you're cutting a 6x6. Don't feel like you have to cut the corner out. You can be really specific about the particular area or pattern that you're wanting to cut or use. Because the thing is, I know we hate using our papers, and they look beautiful sat in their pads, but actually they look beautiful when you have used them. They look even more beautiful once you have got them onto whatever project it is. And then the bonus with that is once you've used it up, it's the perfect excuse to buy to buy some more. So win-win, I'm thinking definitely. So just making sure that that's nice and lined up in the middle. Do you see what I mean about how, in fact, I couldn't have done that better because I've got the orange going into the orange side of that spine, and then you've got the blue going into the blue side of that spine. It's almost like I planned it. It's definitely one of those happy accidents. So then pop this on here. I mean, if you don't make to sell and you're just making your own album, so much nicer to be looking at your papers in a way like this than sat on your shelf in your paper pads. I love those papers. You see, now I know I said I was stepping out of my comfort zone using this, but I love steampunk, and it's just beautiful. It really is a beautiful collection. So it's coming together quite nice. I am going to leave those. You can't see, can you? Because it's so huge. So my two outside pieces, I'm going to leave those for now because I'm going to decide. I hadn't decided on anything except for the base, the shape, because I wanted to sort of create it, as we said, from scratch with you guys. So you know every step of the way. So I'm going to leave those for now. I've got the front done. Again, so on the back, we're just going to pop some paper, a piece of pattern paper, just with a beautiful image on there because it's the back. I love this. I might actually have to go on the back because I think it's gorgeous. I love the very nautical feel to it. So let's pop that there. And again, remembering my sides at 8x8, I'm just going to go down 1/8 of an inch. You can go down further if you want, or you can do it exactly 8x8. But I am loving that little white border. I think it works so well with this collection. So let me just move that. Like that. This is the only time I'm quiet, when I'm gluing. It's almost like I just give you 30 seconds, 10 seconds of peace. Every time I come off of the live, or when I was up at Crafters TV, I would always ring Ben afterwards, and I'd say, did I talk too much? And I still do it now because I know I talk a lot. And I think when you're a chatterbox, you're not aware quite of how much you're talking because it's just normal to you. And they'll say, no, you're fine. And I look at him and I think, you fibbing? Are you sure? There we go. So that looks lovely. And then again, so really all I've got left is these two side pieces. And I really don't know what I want to do as a lock. I don't know if I just want to add a little bit of ribbon. I don't know if I want to put a wrap all the way round. Or magnets. So I could pop magnets there and there. And I know I've already covered those up, but it really doesn't matter. I could pop magnets there and there, or Velcro, those little Velcro circles. You know, when you just don't know, that bit hasn't come to me yet. Don't know. I think I've got another one. It's that big lock that I showed you. I think I've got another one of those. So I actually think I might use that. But the only thing is, so let me bring it in and show you again. The way that this sits on, your two pieces of card have to be flush. Can't have one over the other, because if I open it, the way that it closes, this needs to be at the same level as the other piece. If that's higher, it's not going to sit over because it's not going to reach. So I think maybe this one wouldn't work. But that's all right. We've got 2 more lives to finish this album off. So that can be one that we can be doing next week. But it's coming together. Oh, it's coming together so lovely. So these are the pieces that I've left blank. Can you hear the cogs whirring? Just let me have a little drink of my absolutely freezing cold tea. I love those papers so much. Yeah, they are gorgeous. Rachel Brown, me too, have my Low Festival this month. Should I know what that is? Talking is the best thing to do on a live, lovely. Well, absolutely. It would be a little bit boring if I wasn't saying anything, definitely. I'm at work and love listening to you chat away while I work. Oh, thank you. When are you starting your craft getaway? Is that for me? Oh, it's well and truly cold. So my thinking is, so it's sort of going to fold like that. My thinking is not decided yet, as you can see. If I was going to add album pages, it's this spine here that I'm going to add them to, because that's almost like one album at that side. So that's where my pages would go. An album at that side, and then it would close. But you know me, I'm still in the mindset of, do I want a box? So like to store lots of photos in, or something like that on one side and an album on the other. I don't know, but it is coming together absolutely gorgeous. But you can see what I mean by the closure. How I can't decide if I want to have magnets or not. If you don't want to pop magnets on there, if you've got some nice lovely pegs, or you've got some nice lovely, they're like bulldog clips, aren't they? You could have it like that if you wanted. Have some beads or some string coming off of those, and make a lovely focal point of those. So if I turn that round and fold it over, turn it over so you can see. So you could make a focal point of those. It could be that you want to make those pieces there. So let me open it up. So you could have, obviously not on that side, because remember we said those two together are too much with any depth and dimension. They go together, so you couldn't. But on this side, you could have a little journal pages. So lots of blank pages with just some little decorative elements on there that are going to be attached or can be held on by your little clips. A to-do list, anything like that. It could just be a photo. You could have a photo there. You could have this stood up and open on display, and you could change the photo that you've got on display all the time. just see, you can see why I can't really decide. I will have for the next live, because I knew that would be that creating all this would take up this couple of hours, and then for the next one, I will have decided. But I will say, oh, a bit late joining, but we'll watch back. Hello, Michelle and everyone. Hi, Angela. Yes, give it a watch back. Obviously, it's here for good. I'll share it to my socials anyway, so you've got the link to this. But I don't know, did you see how far we've got? So this is the album that we've created. So it's 4 inches deep by 8 inches, and we've done like a gatefold. So if I stand it up for you, it looks like that. And when we open it up, we haven't decided yet, but your album pages are going to come this way. So they're going to be on this 2-inch side and this 2-inch side. Or we could have boxes, you know, so we can slot stuff in. We haven't decided yet, but someone suggested earlier, I think it might have been Gaz, that you know, if you've got sort of a 4-inch box here, you could have your stamps or dies on one side, and then, you know, roughly a 4-inch high box there. You could have your corresponding up to, I don't think an 8x8 would fit, because you'd have to have your sides, wouldn't you? But your 6x6 papers, your stamps, your stencils, your dies, if you were working on a particular collection, you can store those bits in here and have it on your desk, and it looks pretty. But we haven't decided that. That is going to be next week's live. Deciding on if I'm going to put 2 albums, 1 album and a little box. Decisions, but it closes beautifully. And when you've got it sat on your shelf, this is the spine that you're going to be seeing. And then we'll obviously decorate that up as well. But I think that's come, I'm quite happy with how that's come together. If I bring this up, I think it just looks a little bit exquisite. I think it looks really well finished off. Not that I'm blowing my own trumpet, but it's just, I think it's a lovely, and as you can see, it's not hard to put together. It is just obviously long when it's open. My cheesecloth is drying. That is definitely going to get tucked under there. I've got lots of metal embellishments that we'll get out. I've got some corners that we're going to pop on there. Lots of other bits that I'm going to bring out and sort of share with you that work perfectly with a collection like this, that are a little bit rustic and a little bit better for, I think, men's makes as well, rather than just something a little bit different. So that's one of my favourite things to do, just a little bit of cheesecloth, add whatever ink to tie it in, and it looks absolutely lovely. I do have my little box of metal embellishments here. I'll just bring them in. There's all sorts in it. There's literally all sorts in it. Look, there's masks in there. There's Christmas bells, little mirrors, little vials, little glass bottles that I used on my little Harry Potter house. Lots of keys. Anything that the husband's sort of, when the husband's been making something or he's been mending something, all the little bits of screws and things like that he doesn't need or want, anything metal. I've got lots of my, I don't know what they're called. They're like the little open closey things. That's the technical name. Open closey things. So this is the bag of just bits that my husband no longer uses. He's got rid of. So these are those, what you use to open your SIM card with on your phone. Now you can pop it on like that. It just looks fabulous. Adding a little bit of, let me see if I can reach it. Bear with me. if you've got something like this, so this is my, it's relief paste, so it's just a texture paste. This is in linen, but I've got some green, I've got some other different colours, and you can add this to these just to, make it look more rustic. If you've got some alcohol inks, they tend to sit lovely. You'd like little refill bottles on things like metal. That's an old key. I haven't used it yet, but you can guarantee it's going to come in handy. But chain. So if I bring this back in, and I don't know where it's from. I can't even tell you. We've got that lovely little bit of cheesecloth going on there. Now, this is a thick chain. I've got some thinner, but you absolutely could be popping some of that on there. My husband's got some wire cutters that he would cut that with for me, but you could have it, I don't know, absolutely anywhere. So always put our little screws, little picture hangers that always going to come in handy. That one time that you think, oh, I could do with, it's going to be in that little bag of rubbish that you've collected. But again, so these are all my little feet and my little corners. So I've got sort of deep corners with this one. And then we've got sort of the thinner corners, which will just sit on the corner, just like that. I've got a couple of different coloured ones. Let me find another one. Can't find one. There we go. So that's the deeper one that would sit round the corner as well as on top. So something like this, all your little metal embellishments are going to work at binder hooks. Yeah, I think that's what they are, guys. I've got loads of them. I've got in so many different sizes. For key rings, aren't they? When you've got your key rings, things like that. Yeah, those ones open. These are just key ringy ones. They're all going to come in handy. Absolutely. Even if you were making even these little tiny screws, even if you want to make, if I'd have cut the middle of this out, popped some acetate on, and all these little screws that I've got a huge bag full of, I would have used those for shaker elements inside it rather than sequins and glitter, because sequins and glitter wouldn't necessarily go. But if you've got a huge bag of tiny little screws that are just, when you get any kind of flat pack furniture or shelves, there's always a load of screws left over, isn't there? Keeping them and using them as your shaker elements for a man's make. Oh, it's Father's Day soon, isn't it? So, if you're like me and you love to put a shaker element on anything and you think, how can I get away with it on a man's project? It's by popping all those little screws in that are left over. When your husband says, yeah, I've put it together, it's absolutely fine. And there's like 20 screws left. So, but I will miss next week's due to work. Oh, well, I'll be sharing it, and obviously next week, Rachel, though, it's going to be on my YouTube. So we're alternating. This week it's on Ciao Bellas. Next week it will be on my YouTube. But when I've done it, I always share it to my socials anyway, so it'll be there. No worries. You need to start a retreat with Ben providing food. I really do. I really do. Someone else suggested that the other week. With because they said they'd missed me telling all my tales about what food he was cooking for me and stuff. Michelle, knits for you. Hi. I love those hands, clappy hands. I can never find the really cool emoji. Mine are always just really naff. Ask Gaz. I think more often than not, it's, the little monkey covering his eyes. That's my favourite emoji. I put it on everything. So that is sort of it for now, unless if anyone's got any questions before I go. But next week's, I will have decided what closure I'm using. Terry, hi. Hope you're well. So yeah, next week I'll have decided what enclosure that we're going to be popping on there and what album or box we're going to be popping on the inside. Laurie, hi Michelle, just joining for a few minutes between appointments. Can't wait to watch back later. Well, while I've got you, I'll quickly show you. Let me move that. So what we've done is we've created like a huge gatefold album. Opens that way and then it opens all the way out. And on these two pieces here is where I'm either going to put an album on each side or an album on one side and a box on the other. So very excited. So yeah, that's sort of it really. I'm quite happy with how it's coming together. And hopefully you've seen how nice and easy it is to pop an album together with those sort of little different hints that I've showed you. So I will be popping a little post on my Facebook, and I want you to let me know if there's any particular pages that you would like to see. So if you've seen someone and they've created an album and it's got a particular pocket or a particular movable element or anything like that, let me know and I will see if I can incorporate it into this album. Because while I haven't decided on particular pages, we've all got a week to decide on if there's anything that you'd like to see me do. So, yeah, I'll get that post popped up. But definitely, I don't even know where that's from or what it is. It looks like an old bike lock, doesn't it? You know, the locks for your chains for your bikes. So, Sarah, hi Michelle, love the project. We'll be watching the show back. Brilliant, thank you. I'm definitely doing this. Laurie, oh, did everyone see or did anyone see the post box that Laurie made for, it was like a Christmas one. It was literally, you know, these sort of the American looking post boxes where it's sort of curved and the front flaps down and it's got the little is it a little flag on the side that you stand up to say that there's post in there? It was awesome. I'm absolutely going to be doing that. So you need to definitely go look at Laurie's YouTube because that was amazing. Hello, Michelle. Love watching show back. Hi, crafty friends. I feel like I don't want to go when people are just saying hello. Yes, I did. It's a fabulous project that Laurie made. It is amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to make that. So definitely. But yes, so I'm going to let everyone get off. I'm going to let Ben know if I've decided on a cheese and ham toastie or a ham salad sandwich. You're very sweet, Michelle. Well, no, you know what, Laura, it's an absolutely stunning make. Everything that you make is stunning. To be fair, everything that I see any of you make is just as inspiring to me. So yeah, it was brilliant. I've tried quite a few of Laura's tutorials. It's yeah, it's fun. I love that double scrapbook layout that you made, the Hawaii one. That was awesome. Well, now I've finished singing Laurie's praises. I'm going to let you all go. I still haven't decided what I'm going to eat, but Gaz mentioning sausage, chips, and beans earlier. Baked beans sounds lovely. So, right, I will let you all go. I will definitely be sharing this. Next week is on my YouTube. I'm going to pop a post on my page. Any ideas for pages that you've seen that you would like me to incorporate? Definitely, we will get that sorted, and we will get. Well, we'll probably get one side done next week. So we'll probably get one album done next week and then maybe the week after the other album. It depends on obviously how much time and things like that we've what the pages are, things like that. Thank you for such inspiration, stunning projects. Thank you very much, Donna. So I will let you all go. And as we know by now, I do say that about 30 times before I really do let you go. Thanks, Michelle. Hopefully I will make it on time next week. 6 o'clock, Angela. 6 o'clock on my YouTube. Would you like me to send you a reminder? um, this is looking lovely. It's looking nice and now it's drying, isn't it? Thank you, Michelle. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next week. Yes, thank you too. Yes, so see you all next week. And don't forget, let me know if there's anything that you would like to see, and we will definitely look into doing that. But for now, I will see you later. Bye.